much. I just got my meeting to order. These are my clothes. We'll then call the meeting to order. Please stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any changes or revisions to the regular or consent agendas?
I just have one. I'm going to add item N to the agenda. It'll be the consideration of approval to purchase band instruments. It's the high school band, high school, middle school.
Consent agenda. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the regular and consent agendas as amended? Wes made a motion to approve the consent agendas. Joe made a second. All those in favor? New hires and recognitions.
Mr. Osborne.
Hello, everybody. Brad Osborne, Director of Transportation, and have a new mechanic this year, Jonathan Corey, back here. Done a great job. He hit the ground running right at the end of the school year, and of course, then we were getting ready for bus inspection and had all the buses ready by the time we went through inspection. And troopers were pleased, we were pleased, and he's been a great fit. So glad to have him aboard. Thank you.
We had 3 new hires this year, and I will say that South Putnam hit the jackpot. We have 3 outstanding teachers. Carrie Levitt is here. She's our new 3rd grade teacher. And Laura Miner, she's here. She's our 4th grade teacher. And Megan Crafton's not here, but she's our new special education teacher. And the thing special about them, 9 kids in South Putnam District. So we're excited about that.
Got a couple people. Welcome to Mrs. Hodges' classroom, first of all. Mrs. Hodge for letting us borrow your classroom this evening. Let's see, Brad Hudson. Brad is teaching social studies in the high school and middle school. Julie Fisher, unfortunately, is not here because she broke her shoulder the other day decorating her classroom. And so she taught today with her arm in a sling. She was a trooper. She missed 1 day, so I gave her 1 day off for a broken shoulder, but I demanded she get back today. But she took a lot of meds at the end of the day, and I said, go home and don't drive back here. Kate Hudson is in the back. Kate is teaching Spanish for us at the high school. I tried to hire Kate 4 years ago, but she was still in college at the time. I didn't know that, and so now she's out of college, and I can hire her. So thanks, Kate, for being here. Emily Koch is home with a sick kiddo. Emily's teaching middle school and high school middle school social studies only. Amanda Standers is over there. Amanda is teaching special education in the high school. McKenna Jones is behind me, next to her sister Sam Jones, and McKenna's teaching high school English. Brock Leslie is starting our new options program that we're really excited about working with our students. Lissa McKee is in the back teaching high school science. And then Grant Zimmerman, I don't think Grant was able to be here, and Grant's teaching computer science. And then also a couple others I don't see. Lexi Vanahill is an IA for us, and then Hannah Scott is our new school nurse. I think? Yeah, all right. Okay. Yeah, I already introduced him.
Oh.
Yeah. Got him, got Miss Niece. Yeah. Pretty excited. Every single teacher we hired is an experienced teacher and really pumped and fully licensed, and we are fully staffed. I talked to a representative from Ivy Tech today, and we were the only high school she's talked to all school year that is fully staffed. So I'm going to just count that as a blessing. Pretty excited. I'm going to turn it over now to a couple of our teachers, and they're going to come up and talk to you about our awesome AP results from last school year.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Dixon. I have been teaching here. This is my 17th year at South Putnam, 19th year teaching altogether, and been teaching AP, I believe, since 2009 was my first school year.
I'm Natalie Hodge. I've been teaching at South Putnam for 15 years, 20 years overall. I've been teaching AP Bio for 12 years, and this is my first year teaching AP Computer Science.
We just wanted to share our results because this is a program that started way back when. Mrs. Hodge and I were just discussing that I believe the first year was just Mrs. Dobson teaching AP English, and then we had AP Calculus, and I think that's where we started. And then the year after that, Mrs. Hodge came and taught AP Bio, and
I had 4 kids that got credit the first year, and I was just amazed because it's such a hard test, and I was so proud of them. And Tiffany and I got together, and we cooked hot dogs for like this handful of kids that got credit. So that's where we started 12 years ago, and to see where the program is right now, it's just really incredible. It's something that I'm really, really proud of. So I'm so glad to share this with you all today.
is this working? I was worried with this.
Okay, good.
Okay. Ooh, good. So if you don't know about AP tests, they go through the College Board, and students can get college credit if they earn a 3, 4, or 5 on these exams that are taken worldwide on the same day. And this year was our first year that we participated with Notre Dame in the AP Tip-In. We've talked about that at the school board before. And our math, science, and English classes were involved in that, which means the teachers got some extra professional development. And the students were able to attend some extra things online. And if students earned credit in one of those classes, they were able to earn $100 per class, which we have a lot of kids that did that, and I know they're anxiously awaiting that money. And I think we were told that that's going to be about October, kids, that you'll get your checks for that.
You're going to get paid from Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Make sure you take a picture of the check.
And these were the courses that we offered last year. And again, we are so proud of South Putnam. We are a small school that we offered this many AP courses. And I believe I wrote down 7 of these were with AP Tip-In. So there were 7 different classes that students could take and earn that money if they got credit. We put U.S. History in parentheses because last year U.S. History mostly was a dual credit class through IU, but we had a few kids, I think 3 kids, that chose to take that AP exam because they felt prepared enough. They studied a little bit, on their own time as well. And so it wasn't really a full AP class, but we did have kids that just chose to take that class on their own. And then this is what we really want to be here about to shout out how great that we did. And so you can see the graph over here with the percentage of AP students with scores 3 and above. And 2020 seems like whoa, we did so great in 2020. But if you look over here at the school summary, you can see in 2020 only 56 students took tests because that was the year that we shut down in March, and we told kids if you really want to take the test, we can still do it. But we let kids opt out of that. And so we had 56 kids that were very dedicated. 77 exams were given, and we did really well. But if you look at last year and the year before, we went up to 102 exams, and then last year we more than doubled the number of AP exams we gave. And you can see that we had, other than that outlier year there of 2020, we have the highest scores that we've had in quite a while, and more than doubled the number of exams. And we had over 100 students in our school, grades 9 through 12, that took at least one exam. And we're very, very proud of our kids and our school for being able to offer that. And because of that, and because they did so great, we have some of the best honors that we've had in a really long time. I'm going to talk about these a little bit more on the next slide with the students that are here. But AP scholars are awarded if they receive a 3 or higher, which means they earn college credit on 3 or more AP exams. And then AP scholars with honor, they had to have an average score of a 3.25 on all exams taken, and they had to score a 3 or high on 4 or more of these exams. And then the highest honor that College Board gives is AP Scholar with Distinction, and that is to students that score 3 or higher on 5 or more exams, and they have to have an average score of at least a 3.5. And so if you go to the next slide, woohoo!
Look at those
Sorry, I'm
graphs.
talking a lot.
No, you're good. You're doing good.
Look at this graph, right? We had 14 AP Scholars this year. Hold it, Brandon.
Okay,
Hold
okay.
this because I have numbers. Give me a second. I'm sorry. We had 14 AP Scholars. 6 of them were seniors. 7 of them were juniors, which means they're still taking AP exams this year and can still move up and get more honors. And we had 1 sophomore that already at the end of her sophomore year got the AP Scholar. And then we had 3 with honors, 3 were juniors, 1 was a senior. So again, they are, the juniors will probably move up. And then the ones with distinction, you can see, look at that yellow bar. In 2019, we didn't have any, and then we had 1 the last couple years, and then we had 4 this year, 1 being a junior that we're going to talk about more detailed in a minute. So if you go to the next slide, I'm going to, you want to call their names? And
Sure.
We're going to call you up, and if you're here, please come up and get a certificate because we're really proud of you and your hard work. And so we're going to start with the scholars, and then when we get to the distinction, I'm going to talk a little bit more. I'm totally not.
Okay. I was just thinking, I don't want to miss it.
Okay. Savannah's not here.
Kylie, Mark, come on down. Good job. Why don't we stay up here and we get a picture? How about that? Jacob isn't here. Amelia, Chris.
Because I passed my AP Bio exam.
I don't think Brody is here. Megan Fraser, Nancy Jackson, Caroline Hahn. Marietta's not here. Madison Newby. Ava Watson.
Okay, and then these are AP Scholars, and then we had 3 AP Honors. Those are the ones that got an average of 3.25 on 4 or more exams.
Megan Arnold. Daniel Bunton isn't here. And Garrett Pilcher's already, I think, at Purdue.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, okay. So, the distinction, this is the highest honor given, and I'm going to talk about the junior that got this first. We have a junior, Duncan York, that at the end of his junior year already had taken 6 AP exams with an average score of 4.17, and I do believe he's enrolled in 3. Oh, yeah. Computer science? Yeah. 4. He's in 4 more AP classes this year, and he's already at the highest honor, and so we're super proud of Duncan, who wasn't able to be here today. And then we have some seniors that graduated, Chloe Castelli. In Chloe's high school career, she took 9 AP exams with an average score of 4.56. 5 is the highest you can get, kids. I think our other 2 graduating seniors aren't here. Ava McGinnity, she also took 9 exams with an average score of 4.78, and Catherine Hodge took a total of 7 exams with an average score of 4.57. Oh yeah, there's more. I promise I'm almost done. So we want to talk really briefly about next year because we've had a great year.
This year.
This year. This is currently this year. Sorry, it's like day 2. This year we're offering. And the ones in red, you can see that we're offering even more AP classes than we did last year. We're offering Calculus BC, which is equivalent to Calculus 2. We're offering AP Physics 1, and AP US History is now a full class, so instead of only 3 kids taking that, we'll have a lot more children taking that. And with AP Tippin, last year we only had 7 courses, and this year we have 8 courses that kids can earn money with. So we're really excited that next year we can be here to share these results. Thank you.
Need a picture?
I got it. Yep, I got it. Picture.
Can we switch in?
So anyway, super proud of our AP scores. Also, we offer a ton of dual credit classes, and I'm going to have Mr. Gardner come up and talk about dual credit real quick too.
So I'm not as Ms. Dixon and Ms. Hodge, but what I can tell you is a lot of those same AP courses, students do not have to take the exam to even get the college credit for that. And so, it's kind of really special for South Putnam to be able to do that. I know for us, I think the closest that we have of anybody that would be able to do that within their own building would be in the Avon, Brownsburg, and that type of area. Nobody around here is able to do those same things. Last year, in our building, just with our teachers, we were able to get 871 college credits given out, and that's overall just general. So we had 871, plus there was another 156 just through Area 30. So students necessarily didn't come here. They would have went to Area 30 and got maybe in a welding and got some dual credits for that. There's another 156 for those. And one of those things that allows us to be able to do it because of our teachers here is the Start as a Sophomore program. We call it the Start as a Sophomore, the Gen 30, and that's the only reason we do that is because everybody has tried to change it. They call it the statewide Transfer General Education Corps, STGEC. And so everybody's come up like, okay, let's just call it the Start as a Sophomore. But if somebody would say the STGEC, that's what they're talking about through that. And this year, we're still able to offer that with a really great opportunity from Ivy Tech and IU, partnering with both of those for our speech class. Ivy Tech is offering the opportunity for our students to be able to go to their campus from 2 to 3:15 for 2 days a week and be able to take their speech class for free. IU is actually offering an asynchronous opportunity for speech class where a student could actually take that speech class here online. So if they couldn't get away for 2 periods of the day, they could still do it, but it's $25 a credit, just like it is for the other IU classes that we've had here. So again, our opportunity for our students to be able to get that Start as a Sophomore is still there and still able because of the teachers that we've been able to have and been able to get. But again, when you start thinking about 871 college credits, you take that. I try to do it like towards $250 a credit, which is really low. You're talking like almost $190,000 just in savings for our families and kids. So, and again, you and me both know if you go to DePaul, that's going to be a whole heck of a lot more. You go to Ivy Tech, or if you go to, it depends on where you're going to go, but really kind of cool opportunity for because of our staff. So, great.
So really cool. I've worked at a couple different schools now, and so pretty neat. We offer more AP dual credit courses here than I've ever been a part of at any school, and that's purely just thanks to our faculty. We have, I think, 4 new teachers teaching an AP course this year. Mrs. Dixon's teaching AP Physics for the first time ever. Mrs. Hodge is teaching AP Computer Science, like you mentioned. Ms. Jones is teaching AP Language and AP Lit both. And then Mr. Welty is teaching AP US. And Miss McKee is teaching AP Space, or Environmental, sorry. And so 5 teachers teaching a class for the first time ever. And so just purely their dedication and just doing what's best for our kiddos. Really excited. Fully staffed, that's pretty awesome, but our enrollment's up over 10% in our building as well. And so that's pretty cool too. Pretty excited about that.
And those dual credits are where students have taken, they did not have to take this. That was just strictly from the college university. So if a student took an AP class that wasn't part of that and got a 3 or higher, then that would be even more dual credits that they could have received that wasn't on that, of that 871. So, I mean, it could be close to more like 900 or 1,000 credits.
Thank you.
Financial update?
Yep. As reflected by the cash flow reports in your board packets, our fund balances and corporation finances continue to remain strong. This strong financial status will allow us to proactively address our current needs, but also look forward into the future very confidently. There's more to come. Later in the meeting, we'll visit the upcoming budget information here in a few letters down.
No legislative update. So new business, consideration of updates to classified handbook and sub-pay.
Yep, so last month, we made a significant overhaul to the classified handbook and the compensation for classified positions. This evening, we're seeking approval on just a few additional items, which were detailed in your board packets that you received, specifically substitute pay rates and classified handbook language modifications. So we're seeking approval for those.
Well, but I'm assuming you got the budget effect of the raises and everything. I had a question on the instructional assistants. Is that a salary then? It's just so much per day. Is that considered salary?
Yeah, it's not it's a daily rate.
So they don't have to do the time cards like they used to, or?
So their daily rate, Mrs. Logan and I talked about that, and it's best to do it as a daily rate rather than as an hourly rate.
Right, but they don't have to fill out time. I know that was kind of a mess.
Right now, until we get used to the time clock system, they're going to do a time card, but our plan is to get away, even with the subs, away from the time cards. Yeah.
You might want to check with workers' comp and everything else. They sometimes like to see not paying people, but it shows that they were here and when they.
Well, they would have to clock in with their finger if they're not writing it down.
I'm just saying there should still be some kind of time clock stamp that they're.
Talking about the hours from college, to make sure they fall below that.
I'm saying if employee A here and paid for a daily rate and didn't clock in, and they left and got hurt, and you don't have them clocking out, then you're going to be subject to those liabilities.
We'll still track when they start and when they finish. It's just a daily rate rather than an hourly rate.
That's what I was just saying. You're still clocking them in and out just for a record.
One way or another, we will.
Right.
Yes. Right.
Plus the hours per week total that they work, make sure they fall under.
Well, yeah, but this is for the sub rates though. This is just the substitutes.
But if they would work enough a week, we could run into trouble there.
I have a motion to approve the consideration of updates to the classified handbook and sub-pay. Do I have a second? Greg made a motion to approve. Wes seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. Sorry.
Here's a little long.
Second reading of the corporation policies.
Yep. This is the second reading of the 23 new or amended board policies provided through Neola that we brought to the board last meeting, or first reading. In item C, we're going to be requesting approval of these policies, which have now gone through the 2 required reading cycles.
Talking about that now. The policy. Right.
It can be open for discussion.
Okay. So 8450.01 is the protective facial coverings, and everything was crossed out. So is the whole thing deleted, or is there still just a title for protective?
Anything that was crossed, everything that was crossed out was what legal counsel did in that policy. So that would
So we
no
will
longer
no longer
apply.
have that
If it was all
policy.
gone, then it would be gone.
Okay. Well, it was all gone except the title of the policy and the number. So I'm assuming.
Right. That's just it'll reflect that way in the policy.
Okay. And then, okay, so 5511 is dress and grooming. There might have been more than one. It says dress code upheld on a non-discriminatory way and uniform manner. And then there were
the new language on gender specific and all of that. So it's not gender specific. So, and I didn't have a chance to look at that section of the handbook. So in other words, are boys allowed to wear tank tops or their shoulders showing? You know what I'm saying? You have to make it for everybody, right? There are no shoulders. No one's shoulders can show. The way I understood that. That's why I'm asking clarification for.
So if a situation would come up regarding anything like that, we would go to legal counsel to make sure that we're following that to the T. So it's.
It is our handbook stated that way now. Is that one of the updates?
Well, these policies aren't in place yet. So until these policies are in place yet, the handbook can't reflect that.
Okay, all right. And then on that one, there was also a part where Dr. Halleck had deleted something or added something. Oh, he deleted something. Does that mean, what does that mean? Because his name was right there. I mean, I know you worked with him on.
Right. They're just by him working with all the other schools, he works with like 100 different schools with that. That's just the general consensus of what's the best for the policy.
Okay. And then for graduation requirements, there was a Word document. Was that just for the handbook edition or something? We had the PDF or whatever the policy was written on. And then there was this exact same thing on a Word document.
And that was just for printing purposes.
Okay. Well, I had a question on 5340. I'll skip that. Oh, the 5111 determination of legal settlement. And it states that the board has to establish a number of transfer students. Right? Is that new?
No,
or is that
no, we established that right now we just have an open enrollment period and accept any
Okay.
students during that time. So we don't actually determine a number. We just have it as open enrollment for a specific period of time.
And then the staff student relations, there's that was 3213. There was a green X, and then the rest of it was red. So I didn't know if that meant we were not selecting what was in the red.
If it was red, if there was red lined through, that means legal took it out. That means it no longer applied.
Even though the green is there. Okay. Oh, and I had a question on the Flex program. Is that a standardized program, or what's the definition of the Flex program that the policy is for? And is that established? It's 2370.02, and the title of the policy is Flex program. I wasn't really sure what that referred to.
What that allows us to do is a lot of the things like we're doing now with this new program that we're bringing in at the high school that allows us to flex our programming to meet the needs of the students.
Okay, so Flex program is not a specific, it's generic.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. And then my last one. 0167.3 public participation at board meetings.
The no, not, or no, not, no participant may not ask. Is that the wording?
Didn't catch that one.
Yeah, it's kind of worded funny.
But what is selected is that the public is only allowed to make comments on agenda items, but previously we don't publish the agenda, right?
No, we do.
How far back? I know it was on the door today.
It's also on the website.
Is it always
We
published?
publish it in a banner graphic as well.
With the agenda? Not just the meeting date, but the agenda is also there? Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that if we're going to check that, that they have a chance to see what's on the agenda.
Yeah, we actually publish our agenda. We submit our agenda A lot of schools don't, but we do. It's not a requirement that you have to, but we do.
Plus
Right.
there's ones that don't really walk in too, so.
Right. Okay.
I think the point she was trying to make, if it's not on the agenda, they can't speak about it at that meeting. If it's not a topic on the agenda, you can't speak about it at that meeting. If you sign up at the door, to sign up to speak for something else, it's not on the agenda. Technically, you're supposed to have, is it 48 hours notice and to be put on the agenda if it's not an agenda topic?
If somebody wants to approach a subject, they are gonna call him and get added to the agenda, is how that works.
But you don't have to be added to the agenda to speak at a board meeting, right?
That topic would have to be.
Unless
added.
In
it's
public
on the
comment.
agenda.
In public comment.
Yes.
It would have to be an agenda item for that meeting.
Okay, all right, thank you. I move to approve the policies.
Lisa made a motion to approve the Neola board policy updates. Do I have a second? Joe seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. Consideration of roof bid acceptance.
We accepted bids for our middle school, high school roof project on July 27th. After review of the submitted bids and consideration of KRM Architecture and Kramer Companies, we're seeking approval to accept the base roof project bid proposal from Foster Contracting for $535,000. This bid will provide roofs above the new locker rooms and the newly updated science rooms in the middle school, high school.
What does that leave for, for other areas that might need updated in the future? Does that pretty much cover everything for a while? Are we good for?
It will take care of what we need to now, because in the bid, we had an option of not doing the area over the locker rooms, and we opted to go ahead and do that because costs are only gonna go up, and so now we're gonna lock that pricing in and get that done now. That should put us in pretty good shape moving forward, and then if we touch other areas and other potential projects down the road, then we'll deal with the roofs then as well.
There are a few sections of the roof that I believe, Wes, couple years, 2 to 5 years will be out of warranty. And we do have a diagram that kind of shows that, so.
Dr. Smith, will you explain the alternate bid? 'Cause it was like way under, and I couldn't tell what Kramer was saying about not accepting the alternate bid, or he didn't recommend it, but.
Right, that was the deduct of not doing the roof over the locker rooms.
Okay.
So we did not accept that, we
Okay.
accepted the full.
Gotcha, thank you.
Motion to approve the consideration of roof bid
And
acceptance.
like you and I were talking earlier, Corey, we probably ought to be prepared just in case some of this decking is rusted through.
Correct.
With our documented areas of water standing on the decking.
Agreed.
Is this, I'm sure that the whole admin team's had some input on areas that might be leaking inside and the specific spots that are problematic internal to the building. Like you said, if it's not dripping on your head, it's not technically a leak. Is this gonna cover all those areas?
With what we've been doing in the building, they're up in the ceiling tiles and everything and seeing, and if they would have seen anything, they would have let us know. And, as far as what they would consider. So we're constantly monitoring that, and then as we move into the next phases of some of the other things that we're doing, we'll investigate those things as well.
And this will be a different contractor, different type of material.
This will be,
I assume TPM.
TPO or whatever it is.
I don't think Kramer would
Yes.
push it
After our last
after our.
last contractor.
no, these are gonna be the best materials to match what we need, for sure.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Wes made a motion to approve the roof bid acceptance. Do I have a second? Greg seconded. All those in favor? Consideration of middle school, high school student handbook updates.
As provided for review in your board packets, the middle school, high school handbook has been updated to reflect the needed changes for the 22-23 school year. We're seeking approval of this middle school, high school handbook so we can implement it immediately.
Nothing?
I move to approve the handbook.
Lisa made a motion to approve the handbook. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Joe seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. Consideration of surplus equipment.
Yep. As requested by Ms. Lori Boyce, our Food Services Director, we're seeking approval to surplus some additional kitchen equipment now that the new equipment's been installed, and we just need to surplus that so we can get it out of the way.
Sure you don't want to keep that in the closet in case we have a boil?
I think we'll be okay.
So moved.
Wes made a motion to approve the surplus kitchen equipment. Do I have a second? Joe. Greg seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. Consideration of approval of Halo monitors. We're in different order. We're all messed up tonight.
In an effort to enhance the student safety and deter inappropriate behaviors, we're seeking approval tonight to purchase and install Halo monitors in all the middle school and high school restrooms. These devices are designed with audio analytics, air quality sensors, chemical sensors, and environmental sensors to help with vape and THC detection, air quality monitoring, aggression detection, gunshot detection, and chemical and gas detection. These devices are going to just provide another level of deterrence and safety in our restroom areas.
So are all of those going to be implemented within those devices, or are you picking?
Yeah, all of those are capable of that, and it's just a matter of the setting up in the programming of that. Yes.
And so which ones are you planning on setting up?
Definitely the vape and THC detection, and maybe some of the other things once it gets turned around. These are all capabilities that they have.
So, and
Curious how the aggression monitoring one works.
It has key words like someone yells like help real loud, or you can just I guess there's programming that it recognizes certain statements, phrases, those types of things.
so these are just for the areas where vaping might occur.
These are just for all the restroom areas.
Which is where vaping might occur.
So, right, so the.
Among other places.
Okay, so because when I looked at the diagram, it looked like we were putting a whole new air
It looked
quality.
like it was going throughout the school.
Yeah.
They're just little devices that go in each of the restroom areas.
So what if you have 4 kids in a restroom and you detect vaping, THC, what have you? How are you going to decide which one of those 4 is the culprit?
That's part of the detective work that happens as an administrator.
You going to drug test them?
That is where you put the cameras in play, you have the conversations with students, it's all part of what they do on an everyday basis. Anytime anything happens, it's part of that process.
Once an alert is triggered, where does it go and who responds?
They can set up in different ways. You can set up to notify the devices, even cell phones. You can go down to that level as well. But there's just different ways you can set up those notifications.
Do you already have all that planned out, who those are going to go to?
Not yet, no. Once we get them in place, then we'll figure out what's going to be the best way to utilize that infrastructure.
I saw that one, there's kind of 2 quotes. There's
Right.
an estimate and a quote. Are those from 2 different companies, or
Yes.
one company
2 different companies.
tacking onto the other one? Okay. It looked like one was almost like a direct quote or something like that, and the other one was a little bit higher but less descriptive.
Less descriptive.
So I noticed in the info packet on the Halo Smart Sensor, if you look at the very bottom line, and the bottom lines are always the place you want to look, because that's when, like, oh yeah, by the way, connect to Halo Cloud for ease of management. Does that mean there's going to be like monthly management fees or something like that for this system?
This is all hardwired, so it's hardwired within our system, within our school.
So we don't have to pay we don't have to pay for an app. We don't have to pay for a certain connectivity with certain software.
To my knowledge, no, there's no ongoing fees. It's just the devices are
They'll get you every year for something.
They're hardwired into our network as well.
Once it gets you.
Where's data stored if it does collect data?
Excuse me?
If it does collect data, where is that stored?
Great question. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
It's in the cloud with everything, Greg.
Well, if it's in the cloud, you got to pay for it.
Somewhere along the line.
So there's not a monthly fee attached to this.
I have not seen anything with a monthly fee.
What are the funds? What funds would this be coming from? Safety, security and safety funds it's coming out of?
It'll be coming out of either Geo bond, it's also ESSER qualified. So if I can get it into the ESSER grant, I will. Because of the air quality features of it.
So I think this is a good idea in some aspects. A lot of it smells of just, I don't know,
Do you know of any other schools that have it?
There are several schools that have them throughout the state.
Is it something that's been around for a while, or just something that's fairly new
Technology's
coming
been
from the
coming around.
vaping?
Yeah, I know they were there at least 3 years ago. I know that for sure from the school that I was at before.
I mean, I understand vaping's a problem.
It's just it's one of those added deterrents to help with that ongoing problem.
I think if we do nothing, then nothing will happen, right? Like it may not get better, but
Yeah,
it sounds like it's something,
result.
it's like, this is trying something different. But, you know, if we can pay for it out of some ESSER money or something like that, where it's not as big of a hit.
Well, but is this a part of a overarching plan to help solve the vaping problem?
It's all part of the student safety, all part of that big plan, yes. That's just part of it.
Do you want to make a motion, Joe?
Kind of like to get
Want to make a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the consideration and approval of the Halo monitors. Is there
I
a
didn't know
second?
what this
Well, I
discussion
was going to ask, is there any more information that we would like to see?
I kind of would rather talk to the reps and get some more information. I understand there's a problem. I also understand people can solve a solution sometimes a little better than tech. And this has just got a bad feel to it. Okay, you're monitoring kids for these things. It just kind of rubs me wrong. It's no different than how I feel about collecting kids' data. So, that's just what I stand on.
Les made a second. All those in favor? Motion carries. Consideration of Paramount Dental Plan.
We're constantly looking for ways to increase our efficiencies and reduce costs. We have found a new dental plan provider. It's called the Paramount Dental Plan. That'll save our employees and the school corporation significant costs and premiums while providing an expanded network of doctors. The coverage are the same or better than what we currently have. The cost factors are greatly reduced. There are several area schools that utilize this provider as well, and many that we share that use the same health trust that we do. So I'm confident that this transition will have very limited interference or hiccups in transition from Delta Dental to this Paramount Dental Plan.
Is there a current policy through the co-op or consortium? No, it was outside.
It's an independent policy.
Make a motion approved.
Les made a motion to approve the Paramount Dental Plan. Greg seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. Consideration of approval to purchase Chromebooks.
Sorry, I lost my place here. So with the Chromebooks, if you remember, just last month we ordered 50 new Chromebooks in anticipation of some increased enrollment and some need just to fill in some gaps. However, good problem, we have a dramatic increase in student enrollment, and so we're needing to get even more. Therefore, I'm seeking approval to purchase 50 more Chromebooks tonight. However, since we may be back for more because of this continued enrollment, I would ask for a motion to be approved to up to 75 new Chromebooks once we reassess numbers at the end of the week.
How long does it take to get them?
It's a great question.
5-star?
They have 75 reserved for us, as far as I know, and we were told a week.
Does that include the supporting equipment, the case, and whatever else?
It's not the cases, but it is everything else that goes for the Chromebook. If I remember right.
Do we still need to purchase the supporting stuff with that?
It might not be bad to make that part of the motion.
So, motion for 75 plus the additional equipment.
Greg made a motion to approve the additional Chromebooks.
Second that.
Joe seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries.
How, are we paying for that outright, or are we financing, or?
Yeah, so we pay out of operations costs and then we get reimbursed through student.
The reason why I ask is from back history, that's always Alaska every time.
Consideration of updated 5-star services contract.
Yep, so another good problem with the transition of Grant Zimmerman from 5-star to a teacher in our middle school, high school computer science classrooms, we needed to address the void that's left with his absence now in the classroom. So working with Annie Burns, who's our client engagement specialist at 5-star, we were able to develop a plan that's going to meet our needs while also acknowledging the fact that it's really hard to find qualified techs and candidates for those positions now. These new services, this new service delivery model will also save the corporation money due to the centralizing of their everyday routines and the everyday help desk requests that will be centralized. So tonight we're asking for the approval for the updated 5-star services contract, which you saw in your board packets, to reflect these changes, and then the server kind of fill in the blanks here from 5-star.
Yeah. Thank you. So as Dr. Smith said, we have that good problem with Grant going into the classroom, but that does leave that area of the tech department. So our service is a virtual help desk model. We call it the easy button for the staff member. So essentially they will hit, instead of a ticket or going down to the technician office when maybe Aaron is out at Fillmore and they're needed here at the high school, with it just being one technician now, they will be able to, or every staff member will start a live chat. Our tier 1.5 staff members will triage it. If they can solve it, it'll be within minutes solved. If it's something that needs a physical touch, they will then send it down to the on-site technician. And if it's something that is a larger network issue, then they will send it straight up to the engineering. So all the services that you're paying for. We have about 5 buckets that we know we can solve. We're calling about 30% of the problems that we see on site. So anything with the Google accounts or their Active Directory account logins, Google, as far as like from the Google admin side, from the apps that we push out to the Google Chromebooks that you purchase, hardware, Microsoft, your Windows desktops, and then operating systems, which would be your Windows, Mac, and iOS, Chrome. So those things we can solve remotely and do not need a physical body there. That leaves your on-site technician available to be in the Student Tech Center, or to be at Fillmore, or to be at Central. There are 3 ways to deliver this. We will push out an application on your Windows desktops for the teachers. They can start a live chat. There's a URL that will be pushed out to the Chromebooks, and then there is a desk or a mobile for iOS and Android.
How does that differ from the model now? Because I'm not real familiar with the current model.
Sure. So until 2 weeks ago, you had 2 on-site technicians. Mm-hmm. So what we ask the staff to do is to submit a ticket, and that would go into their technician's queue, and then they will resolve it on site. This will still be, as soon as they hit the live chat, it will still create that ticket. So this allows multiple eyes on that ticket.
So there wasn't a live chat option before?
There was not.
Okay, so
it was
live
just
chat is totally new.
It was just a URL, they put the room number and their issue, and now they can actually talk to a live person.
So it broadens the number of available techs that can help.
Yes. Yeah.
What's that number? What's that number of techs that might see that queue, or the number that might get it?
We have 6 tier 1.5 technicians on the help desk at this point.
So I'm sure you probably have data on turn time on that for other locations? Is that, what's your typical turn time?
Great question.
I was just looking for
Yeah, that's okay.
estimate.
No, I just wanted to pull this up real quick. So we have the 5-minute policy because the teachers are busy in their classrooms. So if the technician cannot solve it within 5 minutes, then we understand that the teachers need to get back to teaching. So that will be either escalated down or up. And so today on the virtual help desk, we had 6 tickets that came in within 10-minute period, and all was resolved.
And go along with Joe's question, how many schools are you transitioning to this model?
Currently, we have 5.
Plans to transition every school to this?
We really look at the needs of each district. This is not a one-size-fits-all solution. This made sense for South Putnam because of, with Grant leaving us. And those of us that have been here for a while know that this is a hard area to hire in good quality people. This also cuts down on some of the frustrations that we've had in the past of when a new person comes on site, you have 6 months for them to get up to speed. So now you have the seasoned technicians that know education that will be working with your teachers. Now, Aaron on site here, your on-site technician, has been with us 3 to 4 years, so his along with his customer service, this would be a good service for you.
And that's kind of going on with Joe's. If you were transitioning everybody to this, we're going to see a big increase in his wait times increase.
It's a case by case. Not every district is the same.
And you'll still be overseeing, per se, okay.
My only other question would be, I didn't see anything in the contract regarding like after-school activities where we might need some IT help, or like graduation. I think we have some, stuff that happens during graduation where there's presentations or some videos or things. Like what things are in place to cover us when maybe our normal technician's not available during that time, but someone else is there any provision for that?
Yep, of course, that's a great thing. So the one thing I didn't mention, virtual help desk hours are 7 to 4. That takes care of the school day. And as always, Dr. Smith and I communicate with on-site technicians, and special events like that, we've always taken care of that. So I'm not familiar with the whole contract, but it's not in there, but that's just something we've done.
And this model to start out with is cheaper than what we're currently paying until we get to roughly that 3rd year. Any other questions?
What's our IT professional say about it?
No other questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Wes made a motion to approve the updated 5-star services contract. Do I have a second? Joe seconded. All those in favor? Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you, Tammy.
Budget overview.
Yep, so, been working hand in hand with Dr. Penrod, putting together the budget and the budget cycle for this upcoming budget year, 2023. Unfortunately, Dr. Penrod was double booked tonight, so I am going to turn myself into Dr. Penrod for a little bit and go over this budget workshop overview for you. So basically what I want to do first is go through the timeline of the process for the budget. So tonight, here after I get done with this presentation, I'm going to request permission to advertise the notice of public hearing in Gateway at the tonight. Then we have ongoing DLGF communication that we communicate with them on an ongoing basis. Department of Local Government Finance, for what DLGF stands for there. So we make sure that we have those communications and those lines open. On September 4th, we'll have the notice of public hearing. We'll enter it into Gateway by then. And then the notice of public hearing for the budget, the bus replacement plan, and the capital assets plan will be posted on our website by September 4th as well. So September 4th is really the next deadline after tonight. We'll have the public hearing for the 2023 budget in September on the 14th. And then the post-capital assets plan, we will post the capital assets plan, the bus replacement plan, and on the website by September 21st. The board adoption of the 2023 budget, the capital assets plan, and the bus replacement plan will be on October 12th at that meeting. And then all completed budget forms will be entered into the gateway system by November 1st. And then from there, we wait on the 1780 notice from the DLGF sometime in December. That's basically the overview. This is just a linear view of that exact same information, just so you can see how the timeline transpires from now until December, when we get our 1782 notice back from the DLGF. So the framework here, the requirements of the corporation, their state prescribed forms that will be completed, and we'll submit those all online through Gateway. And then we'll be advertising the hearing, the capital assets plan, and the bus replacement plan. This is all typical stuff. This isn't anything new. This is just those of you who've been here before. Well, you all been here before, so you know how we did the same thing last year and years before that. We will hold a public hearing, and we will adopt the budget by November 1st and submit that to DLGF via Gateway by November 8th. The Department of Local Government Finance will review and modify our budget as needed. They're going to set the final tax rates, and they'll deliver the budget order, which is 1782 notice as well, so again, sometime in December. And then it's similar to the 22 budget. The budget will be advertised high. Those rates and levies will be dropped when the assessed valuation, the certified net assessed valuation is entered. And so once that happens, that will be adjusted then by the DLGF. In the education fund, which is not supported by property taxes, it is a state grant based on student enrollment. Basically, the budget for 2023 is, as of right now, at this moment, at $8,010,403. And that will include about 15% transfer to the operations, because of the way they readjusted everything a few years ago, the way the financial buckets work in the state. This is a 5% increase in budget over 2022 based on the state grants that we received. And again, this may be lower during that 1782 notice or 1782 period as well, based on the DLGF's responses. The revenue is based upon student enrollment, our special education population, our CTE education, foster student SNAP, TAMP, and the honors diploma numbers as well. So all that goes into our big formula for that number. Student ADN count, the first count will be September 16th. That will set the first installment, and then another will take place February 1st of 2023, which will set the second half of the installments that the school will get. As we mentioned, 15% of the budget will need to be transferred to the operations fund in 2023, and that resolution will come later, where it will read not to exceed over 15%, which is required, the maximum that the state allows to be transferred from the education fund to the operations fund. Our debt service funds, right now there's a budget of $1.869 million, includes, it's a really straightforward, simple debt service fund. Dr. Penrod said he's never seen anything this streamlined in all of years of doing things. And anyway, it includes our Toshiba agreement, which is our leases on our copying machines, our Geo bonds, 2020, and then last year's 2020 bond that we issued, anticipated debt service and unreimbursed curriculum materials that we get. When we don't get funding from the individuals because of reduced free lunch qualifications and so forth, then we can seek a levy to get that reimbursed. The operations fund, which is our 300 account. So if you ever hear us talk about 100 and 300, these are the funds, the fund account numbers. It combines the previous capital projects, transportation, and bus replacement funds all into the operations fund now. The projected revenue of approximately $3.8 million includes estimated tax cap losses of $11,000, as well as the education fund to operations fund transfers. The 2023 proposed budget is a little over 3.9 million, which is a 5% increase, and up to 15% again will be transferred from the ed fund to the operations fund. The capital assets projects plan and the bus replacement plan will also be part of this, and that's where they're funded out of. This is out of the operations fund. The capital assets plan, basically you get a 3-year lookout, the initial and then the next 2 years. As of right now, we're looking to cost shift a lot of that into grants and into our grant funds and in our bond funds. That won't be in the capital asset plan because this will be things that actually come out of the operations account. We're trying to get cost shift as much as we can into those bond funds, or out of those bond funds, just because of the anticipated cost of the increased cost of materials and goods and services so we're just being proactive when we cost shift that out. The capital projects plan, again, 2023, we're just looking to put in the bond expense, the soft cost of the bonds, and utilize those hard costs in the bond funds themselves. The bus replacement plan is looking at two buses a year, basically from 23 to 2027. And that is the current bus replacement cycle plan. And right now it looks like we have 2 buses that are planned for 2023. And so they're into life, and so therefore those are in line to be replaced. If you recall, last year we replaced 2 as well. We used a GEO bond last year for that. We didn't utilize operations funds to do that. That very well could happen again this year, but we have to put it in here now.
What's the used bus market like right now? Like, sometimes we get a good deal on.
It's a great question. I'm not. Mr. Ogborn, do you know what the used bus market's like right now?
Would we be getting pretty good, money for the used buses, or is it pretty
on trade?
It's a racket.
We're better off to keep them or use them for parts at this rate. Yeah, unfortunately, the trade-in market has died. That's where it's at.
That's just the continuation of that same thing. So the rainy day fund, it's funded through transfers from other funds. It's not through tax levies. We're requesting a $400,000 appropriation because if something comes up and we have to use it, we have to appropriate it. So our anticipation is that we're not going to utilize it, but we have to go ahead and file for the appropriation in case we do need to utilize that.
What do you base that number on?
Can I add something about the buses for the used ones? There is a growing market out there for auction site. So some of our buses that have reached end of life for us, but might have another use somewhere else, it's not something that we've explored much yet because we've held on to our buses until we know that we could replace them. But that is something that I plan on exploring to offset the loss that we would have from a trade-in being so low.
That 400,000, is that just based on like all the teacher salaries in case something happens, or how do you come up with that?
It's just an estimated guess if something really bad would happen, like we had to replace a roof or we had to replace a boiler or those types of things, worst case scenarios, or 2 of those things. It's just thinking, we can always come back and ask for additional appropriations if needed, but there's advertising requirements and so forth. So this is just a proactive move in case we needed to utilize that. Again, we're anticipating not needing it whatsoever, and that would be my goal, is to not touch the rainy day if we don't have to. Just some finalized notes here. We have an expected increase in ADM, which we've already talked about, which is great news. And right now we budgeted with 1,102 students in this budget. That's going to settle out somewhere. We're hoping it's still going to be somewhere around 1,100 when we're all said and done. So that's not going to affect this budget tremendously if it does adjust. Our numbers are holding pretty strong right now. The operations fund will see an increase of 5%. The education fund will see funding a 4% increase per pupil, which is the foundation grant, and our assessed valuation at an increase that just came out yesterday or the day before, a 20% increase in assessed valuation, which you all saw. Those of you who live in Putnam County saw your assessed valuations, and this is now translating into funds available for the school. So Dr. Penrod will be here for the next sessions and to go through any final things, but this is just the overview on what we plan on doing with the budget for 2023.
Wes made a motion to approve the permission to advertise the 23 budget and associated plans. Do I have a second? I'll second. Lisa seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. Consideration of approval of the superintendent's contract. The proposed superintendent's contract was properly advertised and also posted on the school's website. Additionally, a contract hearing occurred on Monday, August 1st. Therefore, with a properly advertised, posted, and hearing, I will entertain a motion and a second to approve the proposed superintendent's contract.
So moved.
Wes made a motion to approve the superintendent's contract. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Lisa seconded. All those in favor? Consideration of approval to purchase band instruments.
Mr. Champion, you still here?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Champion.
That quote was dated, you know. It was kind of old, and I think it was only good for a certain amount of time. I feel like we're gonna need to bump that number up a little bit.
Okay.
Well, if
So,
they want to sell.
He probably has more information.
Mr. Champion. He continues to do an amazing job building our band program. Stay seated. You're doing a great job. And is in need of a few key pieces to fill in some voids that has developed over the years. Therefore, we are seeking approval to purchase a select few instruments as detailed in your board packets. They're itemized there. So if we can just have approval to purchase those, that would be amazing.
How does that get us equipment-wise? Is that getting you about to the point where you want to be or need to be, or?
That'll get us through this year probably. We're still seeing unprecedented growth, and I don't see that stopping anytime in the near
It's a
future.
good problem.
So it wouldn't surprise me if we do need to come forth next year again and look at maybe some more purchases. This definitely gets us through this year for sure. And these instruments, looking at the manufacturer's quality, they're gonna last us 20 years easily, longer with good maintenance. So this is really a good purchase for right now and in the future.
What's your student numbers look like?
Our beginning band class this year right now is at 33, although that may fluctuate a little. Overall in band, we have somewhere around 60. I'm not
That's good.
100% sure because they're still scheduling.
So you talked about maintenance real quick, and I assume Pages is gonna do the maintenance.
Yes, that's who we normally
But
do.
is that included in this quote, or are they doing that as part of the purchase price?
We normally, every year, send in our inventory for assessment. Some items, they come back and say they're fine, other ones just need a cleaning, some of them need maintenance. Depending on what that is, sometimes I work with Mr. Yole and Mr. Smith about how we're gonna do that. Some of that is just covered through our regular fundraising. It really just depends on what's coming up that time around.
Does the inspection cost you anything, or is it,
No.
okay, good.
I would expect you're gonna wanna plan for that as the program grows.
I was gonna
Sorry.
comment, but, something I mentioned before, he announced it, was that I noticed the quote was kind of old. It was, I think, several months old. And it had a.
Yeah, it's March.
Yeah, and what was the expiration date? Right? My computer's dead, so I can't look at it. Forgot to plug it in last night.
You're buying new, right?
Yeah,
These
yeah,
are
so,
all new.
so what I'm wondering is, do you need to get a new quote? Do we need to approve a little more than that to give you enough buffer to get those instruments
Approving
knowing?
the purchase of.
Joe, would you just approve the
We
purchase
don't need a
of
dollar
those
amount?
items,
Okay.
and that way if it,
Yeah.
the
If
price
we're not
goes
putting a
up.
dollar amount on it, then I'm not gonna worry about it.
Thank you.
I move to approve the purchase of the needed band instruments.
Lisa made a motion to approve the purchase of the band instruments. Do I have a second? Joe seconded. All those in favor?
Thomas, what's needed again?
What is
No, I'm just kidding. They said they didn't list them. Huh? I thought you were getting excited there.
I just want to be sure he's got enough money to do
Next up is the superintendent's report.
Yeah, I'll make this as quick as possible. We've been here a while tonight. So, despite yet another water main issue, which I'm happy to report is now resolved, and we sent a call out earlier tonight just to let everyone know that we are no longer on a water boil alert. But despite all of that, we are off to an incredible start to this 2022-23 school year here at South Putnam. I'm very excited. There seems to be an ever-present positive, upbeat atmosphere throughout the district. Everywhere I go, I see smiles and an energy that's really hard to put into words. Very exciting. Throughout the meeting, you've heard many of the positives, but with an increasing enrollment, great programming, strong financials, and amazing administrators, teachers, and support staff, this year has absolutely incredible potential. Looking forward to a great year. Nonetheless, we will continue proactively seeking efficiencies and structure of our finances to maximize our student opportunities and to ensure the highest rate of return on our infrastructure investments and our educational initiatives. Additionally, always want to mention this, our new app has been received well, and you should start to see a steady flow of new content as we settle into the new school year. Everybody gets up and get things rolling. So it's really neat, and it's a great tool for, especially when events like water main breaks and that type of thing, to be able to send those notifications out really quickly. So it's a great ad, so thank you for allowing us to have that. Other than that, the other big news is we do have restrooms working and ready to go in the middle school and high school. They are functional. They're not completely finished, but they are functional, and we are glad they are in place. So other than that, looking forward to a great year.
Dr. Smith, on the announcements through the app, does the phone system also work as well? I mean,
yeah, I like, yeah, for instance, like tonight I made an all-call voice call. I made an all text. I texted out, and I also did notification messages on the app. So those who had the app got it. If they had students in Central, or because I can specify which school too. So the notifications for those who have the app only went to parents and students that went to Central or middle school, high school. So the Fillmore didn't get the instant notification on that.
And the administrators have the ability to do that too, if something
They do, yep, and we're getting them trained up and all that on how to do all of that. So some of them know, some of them are getting there.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead. Real quick, and this goes all the way back to the AP results. That was a real good presentation. Is that going to be available somewhere or advertised?
We can probably put that up on the website. Yeah.
We don't need to put kids' names per se, but
right.
You know, a lot of the statistics and stuff. I think that's a very good advertising point.
And I didn't know whether we had any updates on the pipeline with the issues we've been having with the gas line, because they said they weren't going to take out the old pipes until the new one was in. And I saw some old pipes out there. Are they about to get completed now?
Yeah, and they are the ones who caused the water main problem on Saturday. From what I saw and the information that I have, it looked like they're starting to flatten out a lot of the land out there and getting it ready to move on to their next project. So I think we're getting pretty close.
They must have jumped on this section, and then they're going to go back to the south because they've still got a lot of fields to go across. I don't know if they wanted to get this done tentatively before school started. But
It would have been nice to have the grass back before cross country.
Yes, it would have.
Cross country, it's a mud road.
It's going to wear spikes then, right?
We had to cancel the Puckett Invitational, so you know it's kind of a bummer. I don't know what could have been done. They were going to rip that out regardless of whether they moved it, or whether they just ripped it out. That they were going to make that same path. So.
Anything else?
Make motion to adjourn.
Wes made a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Greg seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. Our next regular board meeting will be held on Wednesday, September 14th at 7 p.m. in the music room at Central Elementary. Why we moved?
Yep. Do what?
Why we moved?
Because this is a class.